I would be among the first to admit that we made mistakes in government. I will be among the first to admit that there was corruption within previous Antigua Labour Party administrations. But I have to admit that the corruption that exists today under the UPP regime makes corruption under the previous ALP administration child's play, my dear people.
I mean, this thing is explosive.
There will be no job losses under the Labour Party administration.
There may be trouble ahead, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance,
I now turn to the water shortage that has plagued this country for some time. And I say to you tonight that leadership matters. I say to you tonight that the water shortage that our people have been experiencing is an issue that belongs to a different age. And I say too that we have made positive steps in order to resolve the water problem. And I guarantee you that within 14 days, there will be increased water supply in this country.
Let's face the music and dance.
A cornerstone of our general election campaign was the provision of affordable housing. Indeed, we promised 500 homes in 500 days. And we said to you that you would have gotten 500 homes in 500 days. Those with little or no vision said that it could not be done. Well, as your Prime Minister, I say to you that it can be done and that it shall be done.
Let's face the music and dance. Let's face the music and dance.
I mean, this thing is explosive.
This is True Labor Talks with your host, the executive of the Antigua Barbuda True Labor Party.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's another week of True Labor Talks, and we're so glad to have you here with us. It's been a very active week in politics in Antigua and Barbuda, and even down to the constituency level, the branches. We're hearing so many activities of the branches coming alive now, and new candidate and new caretakers, and primaries going to be held, and who should be the best person to move forward, and orders have been issued by Prime Minister to stand down, and people have hurt feelings, and they're moving forward to see how best they can look about their own personal interests and that of their constituencies and neighbors. We're here, and we're going to start as usual concerning the constituency. And we had two things we need to talk about in St. John's Rural South this week. And one of the main things we need to talk about is the roads. Nedwell, what do you have to say about that? The road works in St. John's Rural South, more in particular, Radio Range.
One word, frightening. Good afternoon to our listeners. Welcome.
What do you mean by frightening?
I've seen some craters in the roads up in Radio Range. I've seen, it's like a length of ditch, like a bunker buster came through in some roads up in Radio Range. That is astonishing. It's frightening to see that something can deteriorate so badly.
Yeah.
We see that there's something wrong with the road. I will think that somewhere down there that the representative And the representative of that constituency, let me point out to you, is the Minister of Works. So this should be done quite easily.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so frightening. It's frightening to see that the road has been deteriorated so badly that, you know, it took your 4x4. Remember what you had to do to get
I had to turn in the 4x4
to get to one of the potholes. It
Yeah.
is so really, it's a ridiculous thing there to see that something like this is happening, especially to a community that was supposed to be an upscale community, not very
pretty
long back.
affluent.
Oh,
Radio Range was once
absolutely,
an
yes.
affluent community.
You better believe that.
People wanted to move into Radio Range.
Range
It was
because
considered a
of
nice
what it was.
area, good
It's
view,
not-
nice big houses,
Not anymore,
safe
Viz,
community.
not anymore.
No,
you
that's
know,
not in
and the
existence.
roads are really out of hand there. And I probably will wait to talk about this, but I've seen that there's a new representative for.
Yeah, but we have to get on to the roads, man. We
yes,
haven't
yes.
even finished the roads.
Yeah, but he
What
has
happened,
said-
what we're talking about, right,
Yeah.
is the roads there on Otters Comprehensive School. That same road with all the solar lights. If you
Yeah.
take that road all the way over to American Road, from what is really Mount St. John's, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you take that Mount St. John's Road and you go east
Mm-hmm.
and go towards American Road. The last right
Before the American Road.
Before American Road. And on
Yeah.
that corner, Clarence Cron Sr. lives. The corner by Clarence Cron Sr., the last right.
That's the last
before
right
American
before
Road.
American Road. Yeah.
If you take the right and just drive straight ahead, right?
Uh-huh.
I guarantee you, if you're driving too fast, you will not have any suspension or
No, no.
any tires.
No, serious. It's
Remaining.
and we have had persons telling us that they lost 2 tires in less than no time.
The woman said tires and some part of the suspension or the
And all that,
axle
yeah, it
was
got messed
gone.
up, you know.
And
this
she
is
was
a
on the other
regular
side
happening.
of the holes. But she said she even had probably just turning on the other left, coming up on American Road, just going in there.
That's so true.
But one of the scariest things, the things I didn't like most of all in the whole thing, is that there was a lady, a Syrian lady or a Middle Eastern woman.
Yeah.
She had children just outside a
lived-
house outside
Yeah,
the door,
right.
those potholes.
Yeah, right
And
in
when we
front
talk
of
about
it.
potholes, right? There were mini ponds. What happened is that the size of the pothole, it was filled with water. And rain came, and the woman actually said this wasn't as bad as it has been in the past.
Right,
But
as usual.
we saw the pothole or the big mini pond had green slime at the bottom. So it obviously was there for like algae has formed.
Oh yeah, quite a
You
while.
understand?
Yes,
So
indeed.
we saw these potholes, and then the woman she came out, I spoke to her, baby. She seemed a little hesitant at first. But then when we started talking to her, she just said, complaining, oh, you're politics or representative. When is the next election? I need to vote for this. I have families inside.
That's right.
You know, I am just telling Antigua and Barbuda people, don't take my word for it. When you drive off Mount St. John's by Otters Comprehensive, there's the Adventist school there, and then you go east in Otters Comprehensive. Just keep driving all the way to
Towards
American
American
Road.
Road.
And the last right by Clarence Crump, he's on that corner. Make the right turn and drive very slowly. And if you have 4-wheel drive, put it in. If you have 2-wheel drive, be very careful. You may have to reverse, right? And just park your car and take a look at what you see.
It's all
In
very-
addition to that road, after you see that crater, you can make the immediate right after that. And then you go into a road which hasn't been paved in I don't even know how long. But you can see there's some asphalt, some barber green on
It
the road.
was paved at one
but
time. Yeah.
it's no longer there.
Yeah.
And then it goes over into what is probably becoming a footpath. It's only, you know, that cars can travel over it now because you see that cars are there, so you see the tracks of the car, the wheels going over
Between the
grass.
bushes, between the
But yeah, the
bushes at
bush.
work.
But there's,
Ah.
the only reason why that isn't bush is that it appears that people are still driving over
And
it.
walking through
Yeah,
it.
so you would go up that road, and I remember the first time we went there in the evening after we campaigned, we thought it was a dead end.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we said,
Because we
oh,
saw
this
the
leads on
bush.
to the other side.
Yes,
This
yes.
is actually a road.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a paved road.
That's right.
Because when you see all the bush on the side of the road and we look carefully, we actually saw the sidewalk,
That's so
the
true.
gutter
That's
right
right.
there.
Yeah.
You understand? And that is the condition in St. John's Rural South Radio Range.
That's
You
right.
understand?
That's what it is.
So we have so much to talk about based on the constituency this week. I mean, we saw some amazing. I haven't seen potholes like that in any other part of the constituency.
It's not
That is
normal.
the worst road.
It's not normal
that's,
there.
That's one of the roads in Antigua and Barbuda.
Far from
period.
normal, yeah. That's not
Yeah.
normal. We haven't seen potholes like that ever. You know, this is something.
No, it wasn't
Yeah,
one, you
I'm
know.
serious.
It's just the whole road at a certain point just
Yeah,
mash
the
up,
length,
mash up.
a full length of that too. You
Yeah.
took some pictures there where
Yeah,
you see.
it's about
Yeah,
15 feet are just bad.
I'm telling you, man.
I can't
That's right.
describe it.
That's
We
how
have the
different it is.
pictures. We'll probably put a link up on this podcast so people can go to
At-
and
at
see
some point in
what
time,
we're
yeah.
talking about. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And then you see the other road going to the for the right.
Yeah,
And
going up-
after
going
you
up
see that
towards the Baptist there.
it hasn't been paved in how many years?
Oh, man.
And it's going into a footpath or
Haven't been looked
a
at.
dirt road, you know, because
Haven't been looked at.
it hasn't been maintained and
Yeah.
repaired over a
Nobody
long
even
period
look
of
at
time.
that stuff.
But Nedwell,
Uh-huh.
we have to move on now. I mean, that was an eye opener into what is happening. You know,
yeah.
and we have to go into the Golden Grove community.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that we experienced the roadworks or lack thereof earlier this week.
That's right.
But later down towards the end of the week, we experienced the Golden Grove Community Center again.
Community
Again,
center.
oh my Lord, what is happening? Nedwell, let you tell us what happened. What happened? What did you see? Let me hear it in your words.
6 months ago, maybe a little less than that, I went up to the Golden Grove Center and we went into this so-called community center that was supposed to be. I took some pictures, and one of the pictures I just took was a pantry that was left behind in one of the rooms, and then we were later told that kids was going in there to have sex, so it's not surprising, the panties. Anyway, we spoke about it and we decided to go back up there to see exactly what was going on, if they upgraded, if they barred it up or whatnot. And we went back up, as you said, during the week.
Well, I heard from a constituent actually. They told me they passed up there and they saw that there was a big tractor or excavator or something.
like
and
something was
something
going
was
on.
happening.
Yeah,
so
something
we,
was going on.
we basically did an investigation to see if the government
to see
had
something.
actually
We're
holding
doing
true to
something.
their
yeah.
promise and doing
Yeah,
something to
doing
benefit the
something,
lives
yeah.
of the people in Golden Grove and not
Yeah.
Grove. Well, go ahead.
It wasn't like that at all. When we went in, the stench just hit you as soon as you get to the door. So if you can remember, you asked, wait, is there outhouse somewhere around,
That was a latrine.
But when we walked down to the entrance of that room, we saw the outhouse there.
My
There,
God.
It was piles of filth and feces. And,
People were defecating
right
in the community
inside
center.
of that room.
I mean, it was, you saw toilet paper, and some people didn't have toilet paper, so they were using cardboard.
And rough paper and whatnot.
All kind of wood. I don't know what to say about that.
It was horrible. So
Horrible.
I said the road was frightening, but it was even more frightening
this
to
is
see a
something
community.
else. This is outer body experience.
Of course.
You know what happened when we went there in April? We saw the panty.
Yeah.
And we reported back on this podcast
That's
and on
right.
Variety
We
Radio
spoke
that
of
there
it,
was,
so we thought that
we
they would
hear
have
that
done
people
something.
in the constituency that young children are going in there to have sex.
Sex, that's right.
That is
That's
bad,
what they said,
terrible.
yeah, in the first
And I
place.
did let people know that I was aware of there was a young girl that got buggered in that community
Yes, you
center
did
in
mention that.
2011. The young man is presently serving 15 years. He was 16 at the time. So that is a community center of vice. But right now, it's not even about the crime that is happening. And we have seen nickel bags that there's some illegal drug activity going on there
I've
also.
seen that, yeah.
But what draw attention to this space is besides the crime, the people are using it there like an outhouse.
Yeah.
I haven't smelled that scent, that stale feces, since
from-
I used to live on Friesel Estate,
child.
right?
Yeah.
And they had an outhouse to the western side of the estate, the house, right?
Yeah.
It was down by where they had a farm, like
Okay.
animal farm. And I remember, the guy who used to use the farm, a man named Cecil from
Cecil.
the Wintrops and so on.
Yes.
He used to be doing his farm there
Yes.
and so on. Oh, you know him?
That's my uncle. That's my
No wonder me and you do so well.
Yes, that's my uncle.
How
yeah.
come you don't tell me this thing? That's my body.
That's
Anyway, we talk about that after. Oh Lord, oh Lord, God rest his soul, man.
God rest his soul.
And Edith and so on, his
Yes.
woman. Yes.
Yes.
Those about the people I grew up around.
Oh, we-
Anyway, Ned, we'll
talk later about
you
that.
surprise me all the time. Yes. God rest his soul, man.
Yeah, but so-
Yes, so Cecil and Soul was the one that usually used it. He had his
when he
animals,
got
and,
animals
so
and so
on.
on.
And then he would use that and so on. One time up at Fry's Hill, I don't know what happened. I think when they dug it out eventually after a couple of weeks and so on, it was this big bullfrog stuck in the pipe for the toilets in the estate. So we had to go and use the outhouse. Well, by that time, boy, I went in there and I got to whiff of the outhouse the first time. You smell that snail urine and feces. That linger in your mind forever. You know, and then what we had to do before we were using it and so on, we had to pour kerosene thing and so on. And we actually burnt it, the feces and so on, right? And then put back in the big cast iron drum or whatever it was, right? So that is my experience. I'm old enough to know to use an outhouse.
Yeah, so
you
when
know?
you walked in that building, it hits you.
Listen,
You
I
wonder
had
where it
one of
was.
them- You know, they say the soldiers when they fight a war, right?
Yes.
They have the post-traumatic stress.
Yeah,
I had PTS.
I tell you.
All of a sudden, like, wait, I'm out at Fry's Hill. I'm a 5-year-old child
Again?
trying to go and use the bathroom, but it's
One
not
more
possible.
time.
And I have to go and use the outhouse.
Yeah, I haven't smelled something like that for a long time. It's just horrible. You know, it's horrible. But then when you took the glimpse in and see what went on in there, man, you see exactly why that stench was like that. It was, oh man, and you can see it's constantly used. It's a
Yeah, it was a
regular thing.
one time.
You know, one-time thing.
One
This
time
was just
thing.
a regular
The
going.
problem is somebody had an upset stomach, so it made it even worse.
Hey, look, this is just so.
We're laughing about the matter, right?
Yeah, but-
Listen. We're talking about community constituency campaign. Up now, we can't even get on to another topic.
No, because
Because
you know,
we
these
are
the things.
so amazed.
These are the
And
things you
that
can't
is what
believe
happened to
that
that
you saw.
community.
Yeah, but you see, what I don't understand, because we went in and saw that. I'm quite sure that the word has to be out there that, hey, this thing is going on inside the building. You know, this is not that we went and we alone know. They have to know in the community. And you mean that nothing is being done, a clean-up session, bar it up, so that it can continue to be that way? Yeah? I don't understand what's going on this with the representation that people are getting. You know, something like this, because, you know, you can, some sort of disease and so can come from these
You can
things.
get ring, right?
All kind of funny, yeah,
But
these things
what
can
happened,
happen.
Nedwell?
Yeah.
In that community center, I see they're actually training people for karate
Yeah,
classes.
right in that building.
On the southern side.
Southern side of the building.
It's a little cleaner. I mean, they sweep it out and so on. But we are talking about bacteria,
Yeah, in the air.
which is microorganisms.
That's
I mean,
right.
you can't say the filth is on the left-hand side,
Side,
so the
you
filth
can't.
isn't going to get over to the right-hand side.
No, you
So,
can't protect yourself like that.
That is the situation,
Yeah,
and the
it's
True
funny.
Labour Party is going to have to do something about this. We're going
Absolutely.
to write some letters. We're going to try to hold people accountable.
Of
We're
course.
going to the party is even going to volunteer. We are volunteering to get the
plywood.
plywood
Yeah, to bar up the
seal
building.
up, bar up that place.
Yeah, we got to bar it up here. This is not nice at all as to what is going on.
When we went
Kids
up there,
around
Ned,
there.
when we went around on to the front of the thing on towards the playing field,
That's
there
right.
were children outside. They
Of
looked like
course,
they came
playing
from
in front
Golo
side there.
Primary School.
Yeah,
They were
it's-
doing their little.
Yeah, it's been used. It's
Yeah, the
constantly being
PPP.
used around that building, close
Yeah.
proximity to the
We saw a
building.
guy that was just chilling out there. He was
Sitting
on one
on-
of the empty walls, just sitting
well,
out on the wall.
yeah,
what
but
was
he has
supposed to be
nerves,
a wall.
brother. He has nerves.
You know?
Yeah.
And this is the state of Antigua and Barbuda, and more so St. John's Rural South.
That's right.
That we have no regard to the people that we are supposed to be serving as politicians,
Representing.
as members
That's right.
of
It doesn't
parliament.
matter. It doesn't matter here.
You know?
Yeah.
And this is one of the situations that I want to hear the people to be aware of, because the still representative, he's supposedly going to resign and not
the end of the term.
take part in the next election. But this is what Eustace Tico Lake, the present member of parliament from St. John's Rural South, said about this same community center and what they're going to provide for the people.
Yeah.
So listen to this one.
Whilst you continue to look at playing fields around the country, there are none, I don't even know, they're not even complete. We have $1.4 million erect structure down in Golden Grove School Park. It shrunk the size of the park. So now the children over there don't even want to play football there. Spliff, who practices over there, cannot practice properly over there. And the building is incomplete. That's what they've done to our country.
But you know what happened?
Yeah.
That was said in the lead up to the 2014 election.
That's right.
And Mr. Eustace Lake saw all the errors, all the evils of the United Progressive Party.
Spoke of it.
And it's now over 3.5 years that the Antigua Labour Party has been in power. What have you done, Mr. Eustace Lake? You grew up in that community. You are the Member of Parliament for St. John's Rural South. What have you done to improve the condition of the people in that constituency? Because nothing has happened to that community center.
Absolutely nothing.
It is crime infested, and now it is a health risk.
Hazard, man.
It's a
Total
health
hazard.
risk.
Yeah, it certainly is.
So we have to take some, as a party, the True Labour Party, we're having our, is the executive meeting tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are going to have to do something about this.
Yeah,
We cannot let this slide.
No,
So I will be there, and I'm going to ask for support from the members of this organization for us to put together. We will donate the plywood, the nails, whatever, to seal up that place.
It needs to be.
Until they come with a plan to demolish it, or
what they're
to
going to do with
complete it,
Yeah.
or to whatever.
Yeah.
We have to work with the government. I mean, they're in charge of it.
and
It's
get the
their
okay.
property.
Yeah,
So
we have to
we're
get
not
the
going to
okay
go
for it.
and be vigilante and
No,
say,
we can't
this is
do
what
it.
we're going to do and don't touch this or whatever.
Yeah.
But something has to be done.
Yeah. With the-
Or attempted at least. And it
Yeah.
will be attempted by me and the party which I am a member.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to go into another clip of Mr. Eustace Lake concerning the same community center and what the plans are for the people. And this is leading up to the 2014 election where he was elected to office.
Yeah.
You know, listen to this one in Nedel.
I remember when I went through the constituency, I saw young men standing up in the corner. And when I say young, I mean young.
He means young.
Many of them are not in school anymore. Here's what your future looks like. We're going to take that $1.4 billion building.
Good.
We're going to finish it. We're going to give you an opportunity to get back to school, and we'll have an after-school program for our youth. We need to increase our passing grade in school. We need to get our education back.
Which,
So what I'm
which one
understanding-
which one of those things happened here?
Nothing.
Not one of them.
But what he's saying there, they're supposed to be finishing the community center. They've already spent 1.5 million over there.
Right.
And he, when he gets into office and his party gets into government, they will finish the community center,
according
not
to
Grove,
him.
Golden Grove Community Center. And in addition to that, they're going to have an after-school program coming out of that community center where young men can finish getting their
Further the
education. He said
education.
men, but I think it's gender neutral.
Yeah,
Men and
yeah,
women
men and women.
who didn't
I
finish
get
their
I hope so.
secondary education,
That's right.
they will get the opportunity to finish because they're going to have an
That's right.
after-school program.
Yeah.
Very positive.
Sounds
So you're
good.
thinking along the same lines that we are thinking also.
But it just
But
didn't happen.
that is 3.5 years ago.
Just didn't happen, and it's not going
And
to happen.
the previous representative, Winston Williams, is the one that started that building. And he was promising the same things too.
Yeah. Same.
And I want to bring something to your attention. You still have a document in front of you, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a fairly young man by the name of Darrell Matthew who is coming around now. He was UPP, but up to about a minute ago. And now, apparently, he is ALP.
ALP ticket.
And he will be the candidate for St. John's Rural South for the Antigua Barbuda Corrupt Labour Party. Apparently, he has some plans for the North Grove Golden Grove community. Could you read me the first thing that he promises?
Well, I wasn't trying to jump the gun when we were talking about the roads.
Yeah,
But I wanted
yeah.
to talk about, he said something here with the infrastructure and
Yeah.
how he's going to deal with, and he says, work to ensure that all roads and drains are upgraded to an acceptable standard.
Nice.
Can you imagine?
And what about the
Tika them
community
say
center? What about the other one?
Let me see.
You didn't see that one? That's the first thing you mentioned, man.
Yeah, he said
On the
to
right-hand side.
ensure that the incomplete community center in North Grove community is completed. That's another thing that Tika Lake had promised. And there was another one to ensure that the regular cleaning program for the roads and drains in the constituency is being done. And he also said to establish a street naming project
Ah, nice.
for the constituency and to ensure all streets are equipped with street signs.
Oh, how sweet.
Can you imagine?
Mr.
That's
Darren
the
Matthew,
infrastructure.
Who was once UPP up to a minute ago,
Yeah.
but now a stalwart of the Antigua,
course.
Barbuda,
That's right.
corrupt
That's
Labour
right.
Party. How lovely.
They say the same things there.
But that is over 15 years ago. Winston Williams probably the same thing.
They're saying the same thing. But he was with you.
Same nonsense.
But he was with UPP, right?
He was with UPP up to a minute ago.
Exactly. So that's why
Apparently
he's
his
speaking
cousin is
like
Kieran
Winston
Simon.
Williams. He was right there, but
Yeah,
that's
he
why he's speaking
is the
that
cousin
way.
of Kieran Simon,
Yeah.
who is the candidate for the UPP in St. John's Rural South.
Yeah.
And from what we understand, he was campaigning with his cousin in the branch to the UPP so that his cousin would become the candidate.
Yes, I understand.
And they
that himself.
defeated Gladys Potter
That's
from
right.
North Grove.
That's right. Then.
But now all of a sudden,
Then.
he is now running for the Antigua Labour Party. You understand?
Who can
So
ever go somewhere?
honestly, that primary was in late July. And July to late October, November, he is now found the light and is Antigua Labour Party stalwart,
This is
willing to fight
this is something
for
like
the liberation.
what will happen at Disney. One of them Disney going on.
Movies
That's
or
not
so on,
too
yeah. This is a
real,
pure fairy
close to
tale.
real, but
This
in
is,
a
not,
too.
this is not in reality.
What really can go?
Hey,
This is-
Nedwell,
this is-
I got another clip I want to play for you from
Yeah.
Mr. Tika Lake. All right, listen to this one. This is what we promised the people again. This is the two leading up to the 2014 election.
We need to do something different. We need to get our young men back out on the playing fields in this constituency. We need to get them playing sports.
Okay.
Again, what is being
Nedwell,
what
do
is
you
being
want to
done?
play sport in a community center on a playing field where people are using it like an outhouse, like a latrine?
Yeah.
Is that what it comes to now?
Yeah. And I'm telling you also that that community center, if you're playing sports, will probably be used as a dressing room where you go inside there and change
You're
your
going to have to
and
change off when you
change
put
off
on your
clothes and
leggings
stuff
and
like
your paddings and so on as a cricketer.
And then you
or
realize-
you put on your shin guards and so on.
Yeah, you're changing
Put on
off
your
in the
brogues and so on.
outhouse.
Where you going to go?
In the outhouse. You're changing off in the outhouse. And then it's a serious. But you see, we have the pictures in over here. We have
Yeah,
those
that is what I
pictures.
wanted to mention.
And
a
you know,
picture is
some-
worth 1,000 words.
That's right. And the
so we
people
can
are going
keep
to
talking.
see. Yeah,
We can keep
people
talking.
will see exactly
But
how
people don't
filthy,
understand.
how filthy that stuff is and what it's looking like. So we have the
When
evidence.
we go into North Grove and Golden Grove,
Yeah.
we're going to be armed with several of these pictures
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
show the people
What
this
they went
government and the
Put them-
past
put them through.
administration, the
Yeah,
UPP,
yeah.
really think
Yeah,
about them. How
yeah,
really
like put them
people
through
first
that nonsense.
and ready to rebuild.
No.
What they really think about people.
Yeah.
So this is just damn disgusting and nasty.
Ready to be built, and they get the chance to rebuild a community center. And
Center.
Nothing.
Nothing.
But they were ready. They weren't too ready.
They said they were
Eh?
ready. I'm not saying I knew they weren't ready. And the people in the constituency, the electors, thought they were ready. But they're really far from ready, boss.
No,
really,
yeah,
really far.
Ready? They didn't start.
So
ready.
Darren Matthew is the new
Yeah.
the new heir to the St. John's Rural South community based on the Antigua Labour Party. Kieran Sison, his first cousin, is the new heir to the St. John's Rural South constituency based on the UPP. And Iram remained in with the true Labour Party. Because you know the differences really. What has happened in 2004, Winston Williams, who was UPP, won. He did nothing. Then in 2009, they elected Eustace Tika Lake. Eustace Tika Lake was UPP, but he ran on a Labour Party ticket.
Not a
And now,
What
Is Darrell Matthew,
doing the same?
who is UPP,
Doing the
is
same
running
thing.
on the Antigua Labour Party ticket.
Doing the same thing.
So you think there's going to be any change? I am the only Labour in the whole mix.
That taking a stand.
The only person that is taking a stand.
Taking a
The
stand.
last time they had a Labour candidate and a Labour representative was Vere Cornwall Bird Jr. in 2000 up to 2004.
That's right.
Right? So I'm asking the constituents to keep an open mind and to consider me to be your representatives, because you've tried UPP in Winston Williams, you've tried UPP in Eustace Tico Lake, you tried now the potential to try UPP in the guise of Darrell Matthews. The same result is going to take place. That is the sad
Obviously,
circumstance.
yeah. This is
Yeah.
this is what's been going on all this time, and
Yeah.
the people have to realize now that that something they're playing a trick on the people. How can you have an individual from one party? He campaigned with his cousin not very long back for that other party, and next thing, few months later, he's running for another party against his cousin.
Yeah.
That he campaigned for. Where this
Correct.
whole thing doesn't make any sense. These people, they're taking the people for a ride. And it's not fair. It's not fair at all what they're doing to the general public there. And because they feel that they have the power and authority, which I heard one of the ministers was singing there, they just do whatever they feel like doing, and there's no accountability. They don't have to tell the people nothing. And it's just silly. They come with the same song, the same tune, time and time again. When I look at this leaflet from this guy Matthew, it's actually what Tico said to the general public. It's actually what Winston Williams said to the general public.
Yep.
And look at what's going on down there. Look at what we encountered a few days ago when we went into that community center there. This is the last thing that we expected. When we went there to see exactly if any works was being done. That's right, because you saw the side wall from the northern side that fall over and stuff like that. We went there to see exactly if they heard what we were saying and they decided to do something. But when we went into the building, this is the last thing that we expected to see. This is horrible. You can't have a community with such filth so close to the homes of the people. As you said, that microbacteria flying in the air all over the place. What do they think is going to happen later on there? So it goes to show you that these people, they don't care. They don't really care about the people. It's not them. So it doesn't really matter if they do something about it somewhere down the line. It doesn't matter how many people got hurt from it. So to come with this leaflet and talking about service to our country and service to you, this is something that I've heard time and time again from these same guys who are shuffling around. They don't even know what party they belong to, whether UPP or ALP. They start off and saying they're with UPP and they end up running on an ALP ticket. What kind of a kangaroo ignorance is this there? It doesn't really make any sense, and the general public has to realize this. I was listening to the program that you were on earlier with Radio Observer, and I heard one of the gentlemen there saying, look, one of the things that they are missing out with this whole thing with the primaries and all that the allegiance is not supposed to be to party. It's supposed to be to the country. And the guy was absolutely correct in that statement. It's a country thing. You have to care about the country in order to do the right things. Now, these articles are supposed to be in place that if they are used and implemented, everything will go as planned and do properly. But the diversion from what the Constitution says and all this, and you feel you can do as you like, shows that you don't really care about the country because you don't plan to do it correctly. And this is what's happening. It's so easy to do correctly because I'm quite sure the founding fathers, when they put these things in place, they tell you how to do it to get it correctly.
Yeah.
It's a shift from how it's accustomed to be done and how it's supposed to be done. Why all these things are happening? We are just wasting time and this put in who he wants to put in and all that. We shouldn't even have to get to that way. These are standard procedures. These are procedures that if you just follow the Constitution and follow the procedures, everything will go right, and this is what it's supposed to be. But because you have people in power who think that they can do as they like and change this and do that within the going-ons of things, this is why we are speaking of this today. Yeah. This is a horrible situation where, and people need to be held accountable for all these things, not only for the people's purse and all that, but the way how they conduct themselves and the way how they continue within the framework of how things been set up.
Yeah.
You understand, these people, they just divert from how things have been done and they do it and they say, well, we're in charge. This doesn't work like that, Via. It can't work like that. We follow the guidelines of how things are supposed to be done. All these things will be done, standard procedures and right in time and right in line. So I don't understand what's going on. Don't understand what this gentleman is coming with, because he's saying something that I've heard time and time again. And when I looked, I see nothing. Look at the roads in Radio Range. Tico talked about the roads. Oh, we begged and begged. I heard him say something of that nature.
One second, let me get that clip.
You think you can pull it up? And we got something, and up in Low Artes, it wasn't that fortunate because it was coming close to the election. Yeah. He won after that. And what happened? Well, he didn't have to beg after that.
Because he was the Minister of Works.
He was the Minister of Works.
Listen to this one.
Right?
I will take what was there, such as the potholes that were all over Lower Artes, and I begged and I begged and I begged and I begged until we got every road in Lower Artes sealed and beautiful. We tried the same thing in Upper Artes. It did not work as well because the political season was coming.
Okay.
We made noise over Creekside about getting that road done. We made noise about Jim Daddy's Road to get that road done.
Hey, you hear that?
Yeah.
You know what happened, Edwell? Not one of those roads are done. Not one of those roads are done today. He is presently the Minister of Public Works, the Minister of Works.
He didn't have to beg anymore.
From Radio Range in the north to Top Artes coming south, Lower Artes, Kentish Road, all the way Valley Road, going all the way back down to Jim Daddy Road, going down into Golden Grove Extension. North Grove, going up the road, going up to North Grove Hill, coming back down into Golden Grove Extension.
Yeah.
Poor state.
Look at it.
He has no regard for his own constituency.
Awful. But but the point is, he was trying to let the people think, well, look, I was begging the other party to do it and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
He got the opportunity to do it as the head honcho. Mm-hmm. He was the man in charge there. To say, go and fix this road. So it's just, all right, I was begging, I didn't get it done. Hey, I got the opportunity to do it. Yeah. Did he? He didn't. Look at the condition.
Opportunity, the people voted for him
to do it.
And
he did. That's what he
promised.
promised.
Die-hard Labour supporters.
He promised that. Yeah.
And
look what he gave the people.
Are they willing to take a choice on another UPP candidate running on the Labour Party ticket? I believe that at some point in time, the people of St. John's Roseau will wake up.
That's right.
Because Winston Williams, Eustace Tikelake, and now Darrell Matthews.
Yeah.
Are the same coin.
That's right.
It's two sides of the same coin.
I think I read something where that he said that he was behind the scenes of Winston Williams. This is the same guy?
No, that's the cousin. You get them confused.
Oh,
that's Kieran Simon.
You see what I'm talking about?
He said that he was in the branch and he was working from the branch all the time when Winston Williams was building that monstrosity of a community center.
Yeah. Look
right?
At that. He was
and
there.
That he was there working in the branch. But I'm saying, Kieran, you were in the branch and you saw that work started and work stopped. What did you do about it? You have the interests of these people at heart.
Yeah.
So you say Winston didn't do anything. Now Tico take over another UPP so you can't talk to him because he's on a Labour Party ticket. And now it's your time to shine because you're going to remedy what you stood by and see happen and didn't correct it when you were in power.
Nothing at all.
From 2004 to 2009, you didn't have it corrected.
No,
but now vote for me on election day,
Yeah.
and I'm after how many years? 7, 8, 9 years of nothing happening.
Yeah.
You're going to fix the problem.
And his cousin didn't see nothing wrong with that. He went and endorsed him.
Yeah, his cousin
didn't
Darren
see
Matthew
not- yeah, didn't
went
see
and
nothing,
endorsed him
endorsed him.
and campaigned for him in
Can
the
you
UPP branch
Seeing
primary.
how he operated.
And now I don't know what he's going to say about his cousin. I don't know. That's family matter. You're supposed to keep out the family people. in this
Oh, well,
business.
tell you, let me do that right now. I mean, it's an awful situation.
Somebody's been played for a fool.
Absolutely.
And it's not Lionel Nedwell and
that's
Via
certainly
Connor
not.
Bird
Certainly
III.
not. Certainly not.
Rural South, the
Yeah.
electors in there, the people who hear our voice,
Yeah.
you have some serious decisions to
To
make
make.
come the next general election.
Very much so.
I am from a Labour Party household. I am not with the Antigua Barbuda corrupt Labour because they're not looking about the interests of the people of St. John's Rural South. So what did I do? I left them. I didn't take the ambassadorship. I didn't take the cushy job of being some head of some statutory body
this and
or
all that.
director in some other organization
That's
of,
right.
of the state, right? Government ministry or something.
Yeah.
What I did is I left.
Yeah.
I accepted
Yeah.
nothing.
Great.
I formed a political organization that we call the True Labour Party because we're looking about your interest.
Real
and
Labour.
this is what, if you vote for me on election day, I will be dealing with this matter even more so now than I am because I'll have the authority, I'll have the power to do something. We
right.
are going to deal with this in opposition, this community center. We are going to make some correspondence, we're going to make some calls, and we are going to get some action. We are going to make certain that all of Antigua knows the sort of filth that is taking place in St. John's Rural South and the North Grove
Yeah,
Golden Grove
Rural
Community
South.
Center.
That's
The guy who wrote the song, I keep saying so, the guy who wrote the song
Nastiness.
Nastiness for Ivina.
Yeah, he left out a great part of
He
this.
left out a verse.
Yeah, he left out a
I
great
keep
part of
saying this.
Yeah.
Did he not see in his own community, in his own constituency?
What's-
'Cause I
what's
believe
going
he's
on in
from
there?
his name is Stumpy, I think, from
Yeah, that's what I heard. they say.
Stumpy from what you call that road there now?
Close
same road that we just turned up there earlier. Baxter Street.
Okay, yeah.
And Stumpy, we need another verse or two. I don't even think one verse can handle the filth.
Yeah,
in
that's
that
what,
community
what's
center.
going on
You
in the
need
community.
to write about the nastiness,
Uh-huh.
not only by the Labour Party, but by introduced by the UPP. So it was a UPP project. This building community centers and fences was about. This is part of the fencing scandal.
Absolutely.
So Stumpy, you need to come better than that, Jack.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
not go
not
down the
just-
path of party politics and we are good and they are bad
None
and
of
they are
that
nasty.
stuff. No, it's
Because
just
what we
wrong
are
and
seeing
right.
in St. John's Rural South, ALP, corrupt Labour and UPP are equally
No
as
different.
nasty as one
No
another.
difference there. It's the same.
It's one coin and they're both
Yeah.
different sides of the same coin.
Yeah, this man, that man is the same man.
Yeah.
Same man.
That's
They're
what
doing
I
the
would
same
say
thing.
about Winston Williams and Chico Lake and now Darren Matthew.
Yeah.
It's one UPP coin and they're different sides of the coin. But it's the same thing. One may choose to go forward on the UPP ticket,
Yeah.
or the other one may choose to go on the Labour Party
But it's
ticket.
the same
But
thing
it's
you're
the
getting.
same coin. It is UPP. It is a failed administration for 10 years that
Absolutely.
could not build a community center in St. John's Rural South,
Mm-hmm.
that could not beat a proper wall. We're going to probably go into next week about all those cliffs by Lovell
Yeah.
and all the
Yeah.
nonsense you're talking
Yeah,
about.
because you are looking for that 5-foot walkway that costs that funny money.
Yeah.
And we
Right.
didn't find nothing with
Not
that
a
5
thing,
Not a
not
thing
a
that
thing
looked
from
like
the
a
man.
5-foot water.
Couldn't find the
So-
5-foot walkway that worth $150,000.
Can you imagine some
Can you
funny,
imagine?
funny money? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a horrible
man.
situation there. And I don't know what the people are planning to do, but if they're really planning to take charge of their lives and to have a meaningful living somewhere down the road, they're going to have to do something different than what they've been doing. The living that these two parties has provided for these people is a horrible living. It's not nice at all. The people, they're having a hard time. We used to, we go down, bend down. I used to go bend down and all that.
Yeah, trying to make a
And
sale.
we started and the sales was terrific and all that good stuff. But then you see how the buying power has just decreased.
Yeah.
You understand? People has to choose between buying clothes and buying food and all this
And
stuff.
clothing the children and
Exactly.
feeding them and paying for the school
And all
fees.
that other
Priorities.
responsibilities, other responsibilities that you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
make priority. So we see firsthand exactly what was going on and what is going on with the people. So if the people don't see themselves, I don't know, I really don't know what's going on here with them there. But they need to do something different in order to enhance their living, to make sure they have a better way of life going forward. In terms of this guy here, I don't know. I really don't know. He's making a lot of promises.
Yeah, I hear that he's campaigning up in
most
Top
of the
Otters Newtown, and
Yeah,
he made his
I
way
heard
down
he's
to
out,
Lower
I heard
Otters,
he's
and
out,
he's
yeah.
walking around with one or two of the die-hard Labour supporters and meeting the influential people in the area and
Oh, yeah.
telling them what he's all about.
To do what?
Daryl, I mean, I saw you in Barclays Bank about 3 weeks ago, and I love it. Welcome to the wonderful world of politics in Antigua and Barbuda, and more so in St. John's Rural South. By the company you keep, you will be known.
Very much
And
so.
now you are known for being UPP, and now have chosen to associate with the corrupt Labour Party.
Taking the taste of all the corruption.
6 and a half a dozen
It's the same
are the
thing.
same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. So
Do not expect anything wonderful out of Mr. Darrell Matthew or some new plan or new way to move forward. He's been put into a position basically because they believe he's an educated individual, and he's a decent guy. I have good conversations with him all the time.
course, yeah,
But
I
will he
can
be the
accept.
one to really make some difference in that consistency, positive change to benefit the lives of the constituents?
by your
I don't see it happen.
by your companions,
Yeah,
you
you
shall
will
be
know.
known.
He,
That's it. He just chose the wrong path.
yeah.
You know, these guys are not guys to associate with. Where you took off.
Yeah.
You saw what was happening and you took off.
I left.
Right
when I
in-
see,
right
if I
in
was
time,
a member of the
man,
United
right in
Progressive
time.
Party, Nedwell, let's break
Yeah.
it down. And I am living in St. John's Rural South, and I support this party, and this party cannot build a proper wall,
That's right.
a proper fence.
Yeah.
They build this, 5-foot walkway costing $150,000. Let me see if I can get that clip from Lovell.
That's
That one is funny.
Yeah, that's something. That's a
me see
serious
if I
thing.
can find
But we
Then
looked
there
for
was
that.
the concrete strip at Golden Grove. Here, it was noted this project involves casting a 5-foot wide concrete walkway on the perimeter of the fenced ball field in Golden Grove. The Ministry of Sports has an estimate of EC $151,120. Our estimate is $90,000 for the area that is concreted. It is not certain whether this is the entire length, since the Ministry of Sports has indicated that this is only 80% completed.
80% of a 5-foot wide walkway.
Walkway.
But we never saw a walkway to
That
begin
thing
with.
looked close to the walkway.
A walkway to where?
We looked there.
I saw the basketball court like
That's
thing, and
right,
they had
we
the
saw that.
basketball thing on the southern side of the community center.
Right, yeah,
But
I saw
I
that.
did not see a walkway,
We all
whether 1
overlooking.
foot, 2 foot, 5 foot, anything.
We went around and said,
Somebody got paid for
let's see
nothing.
if we see it at this side, from this side.
Yeah,
We didn't
yeah.
see nothing
That
looking
is
like
the
that.
most comprehensive that I've gone up there and looked around.
Yeah.
You should just go into the community center
Yeah,
and
but
look
we
and
had
take a
looked
few
around.
pictures.
But
We looked around
to see what
try
we
to
could
find this
see.
5-foot wide
What was a
walkway, concrete strip.
$150,000 business, and
Yeah, so
we didn't see nothing that looked
it's
like
just amazing at what is transpiring.
yeah.
I don't know what is going to happen in the coming months and years for the people of this constituency if they continue
To go
to
down that
vote
path.
for UPP or they continue to vote for UPP supporters and members on a Labour Party ticket. I
that's so
don't
true.
know what the future will hold. It does not look positive
No, it's not a
from
bright
this
one.
side.
It's not a bright one there.
I am promising the people of St. John's Rural South that if elected to office, that my party, we have plans to improve that constituency, whether we are able to form government or not. We are building our community center on Rose Street. We will have an after-school program. In addition to that, it will be doubled as a hurricane shelter. And that is a promise that I am making to people of that constituency. We are hoping that the finance will be settled towards the end of this year, in the next month, the next 3-4 weeks, because that's the end of the year. And by early 2018,
we get
the building work will commence to build a community center in that constituency to benefit the lives of everybody. ALP, UPP, and even Darren Matthew, who is UPP
welcome
on the Labour Party.
Yeah, he'll be welcome.
Probably send him an invite to the opening ceremony.
That's right.
You understand?
Yes, he's from the community here, so he should be welcome. It's a community center for everybody.
For everybody.
So everybody. So
we want to try to benefit everybody.
That's right. This is, and we want to show them that, we are putting programs in place to benefit the constituency, to make sure that the constituency starts running right. You understand? The way it's going right now is like the wild, wild west. Everybody, they don't know where to turn and stuff like that. They have your representative and promise you a whole lot of things, and then you don't even see him. It has the people baffled, that they don't even know what to do. So everybody is just doing their own thing, and trying to become like a hustle. Because there's nothing put together substantially that people can go get into and make a meaningful living. Everybody's hustling on their own to try and make a living for themselves. There's no help at all from these guys in terms of anything being put in place that can help you out to get to where you're going. So the people have to decide. They have serious decisions to make within the next year and a half, whether or not they're going to change the way of doing things and really do it the correct way that will benefit them somewhere down the road. And this is not happening. It didn't happen for the last election, the one before and the one before. So let's hope right now, after seeing the repercussions and seeing what's going on and the hardship and all this, let's hope people will change their way of doing things and start to put serious considerations into decisions that they are going to make and make the right decisions there.
Yeah, so true, Nedwell.
Yeah.
You know what happened is that only us doing this program and informing people what is going on there. You don't hear these sort of issues about that Golden Grove Community Center being covered by the main media.
No, it's all right.
We have been pushing this story. It's not even now that we're doing the podcast. Podcast all the way back to the last election.
That's right.
Because I do remember the first meeting that I held on the True Labour Party ticket was in Golden Grove.
Yes.
We're trying to actually hold it on the basketball field.
Yes.
The basketball court. On that same
compound.
Compound.
Yeah.
Just to the south of the community center.
Right.
But what happened, I remember that we were told that they had electricity, they had the outlets there.
Yeah.
But when we tried to plug in for
Nothing
the sound
was
system,
happening.
nothing happened.
Nothing was
So it's a lady closer up going
Across the
towards
street.
not Grove Hill.
Yeah.
She gave us the electricity and they gave us some money after and so on. And then the other lady on the left hand side, she turned on her backlight so that we could actually see and so on and get some better visuals of what was happening. And I did complain about that community center / whatever else it is.
Of course.
It's not just
we spoke about it. We've been talking about it for quite a while.
And I don't know what more we can do. But we're going to continue to try.
Yes, and
because
assist.
if you thought that it was going to be rectified when Eustace T. Lake and corrupt Labour got into office, your 3.5, nearly 3 3/4 of the term is complete, and the condition has gotten worse.
That's right.
It was a health hazard. Because I remember just before the end of the last election, like about 3-4 weeks, I went into that community center and I saw young men shooting up in that same dirty room.
Yeah.
Right? And then some others I saw at their feet. I didn't see them actually selling it, but I saw at their feet they had the nickel bags.
The bags and
I
stuff
said, wait,
like
there's drug activity going on here, man. And when one of them said, where he come from, I just bolted out straight out of that door
It wasn't there
onto
anymore.
the playing field. And he was kind of high on that well.
Yeah, but
wow.
You didn't care about the job.
Yeah,
You just
I
went
just
get the
got
hell
out
out
of there,
of
boy.
there.
That was so unsafe. It was a feeling like, listen, this could go bad. There
Oh,
might
you
be
mean?
some rival gang or
come
individual rolling up
somebody,
on them,
that's right.
and they start stabbing and shooting.
How
and
you
doing
mean?
a
Where you
stomp
come
in the
from?
best.
That's what they
So
asked. Where you come
cleared out
from?
to there.
Who the hell is that guy?
I cleared out to there.
It's just horrible. It's just people need better representation right now. And I know that you're in this thing for the long haul, and you're in there for quite a while as well. So you not just barely have an idea, but you know exactly what it takes to rectify these problems. You have a degree in politics, so you can legislate and stuff like that. You're a lawyer.
And,
you can do
lawyer,
all these good things to the people. It's right there. It's one-stop shop. You know what I'm saying? And I know people love to grab at one-stop shop where they go there and they get everything one time.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so I can't see why that you would not be seriously considered for the job as to a person who can do the job properly and probably be the best person to do the job.
To do the job and get something completed.
Completed. Very much
Well,
so.
you know what our motto is for the 2000 and whenever election, you know? Constitution due by the June 2019.
19.
What is it now? You tried the rest?
Yeah,
No,
to
vote
vote
fair
for
for success.
success.
And
That's
we
right.
mean it.
Absolutely.
You tried UPP.
All of them.
You've tried UPP and Labour Party ticket. And now the option is UPP
/ Labour
UPP
Party
and
again.
Labour Party ticket and True Labour.
Yeah.
And they have DNA in there
Yeah,
too. But
yeah.
they just come. So
Yeah,
I believe I'm the best person for this job, and I will be continuing to campaign to bring these issues to the forefront.
That's right.
And the concerns of not only the crime but the health hazard that / quote unquote community center
Yeah.
is doing to the people in that
And-
North Grove community
and-
center, North Grove and Golden Grove communities.
That's right. That the
You
government
understand?
don't care about. Don't
Yeah,
even
yeah,
care
yeah.
about that. It's happening, and it's like they don't even say it doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
not us. you
That
know?
happened in the past, and now it's different candidates.
That's
so
right.
we absolved from
Yeah.
showing any interest
That's
or
right. It's
caring.
not- yeah,
The
it's not us.
apathy. It's
Yeah.
all about the apathy.
Absolutely.
They're so apathetic to. Listen, it's not like you put that up and it's a car park and you just parking cars in there or something.
No,
you know,
none of that
they're
stuff.
children.
That's right.
They
That-
have
that
some
utilizes.
karate class, some judo class
Just to
that
the
are being
south side of
performed
that
in
stuff.
there.
South rooms.
Yeah.
Yes, in the rooms to the south of it.
I've seen it several times. The gentleman even have up a sign saying where his karate classes are.
That's right. That's
He
right.
was even telling me at some point in time earlier last year that we should look in, when we tell we're going to try to build a community center, that we should forget about plans for our community center and try to finish off this one.
What are you talking about?
But
You see that?
seriously, I don't even know their plans.
One
I
point
don't
something.
even know if there are plans to this place.
Well,
This
yeah.
is what Lovell said. This is what Lovell says about the whole idea where this building community center walls come from.
1. Genesis of projects. The idea of fencing playing fields and constructing community centers in the various constituencies arose during 2006. It was decided that something had to be done to provide activities for the youths in Antigua and Barbuda in order to reduce the incidence of crime in which they were involved. To that end, Minister Williams said that a survey was done, and it was observed that a large number of young men tend to gather at the basketball courts and playing fields. Consequently, it was decided that the basketball courts and playing fields could be fenced in order to provide a safe and secure environment for the youth who gather there.
You see what happened? Lovell. So you did a survey that they say a lot of people gather around the community. So you needed to do a survey. You couldn't go down there and see for yourself. And then in addition to that you did this survey, and so they weren't safe before, Mr. Lovell. Or there was some gun smoke going on up there, or shooting. I never heard of any crime before this community center happening on Golden Grove
That's
playing
right,
field.
the gun
No, it
was
could have
raped.
happened. I'm not aware of it. Right, and I wouldn't be surprised if something happened, but I have never heard of no epidemic, some serious violence going on up there on that field.
That's right.
So
That's a-
he's saying that a lot of people were gathering around there. They saw the need to do something with the young men to provide sporting facilities, and they wanted to make them safe. So they built a fence. So what the fence was supposed to do? Keep out the crime? They didn't build, whatever you built up there, Mr. Lovell, that is the cause of the crime right now.
Exactly what it is.
That is the cause of crime.
No,
But listen to this last clip here as well. Listen to what Mr. Lovell and the UPP are saying. And this was in Parliament, you know. This was their own internal investigation by the government at the time.
How the projects were executed. Clearly, there are matters there from which we must take lessons. But I think coming out of it, there is no evidence of culpability with respect to anybody having acted corruptly or anybody having acted in a manner which, in my view, would require that this matter be taken further.
You understand that?
One walkway for $150,000. 5-foot walkway. Nothing.
And
You didn't see nothing wrong with that?
That's all right. It's not. They shouldn't be held
You didn't see
accountable.
nothing wrong with that?
There's no
That's not
criminality to it.
questionable? Well, you understand what Howell is a good friend of mine in a way, but I really don't understand where he said was that talking them kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand. You know, Howell need to be, to me, I thought he was more sensible. Because when I hear about 5 feet and it's a walkway, no way in the world, no $150,000 will come to my mind to be paying for something like that.
Yeah.
So I will have to question that
Yeah.
when I hear the figures for. Look at that building that I hear Tika talk about $1.something million.
1.5.
You see that building? That's a
Yeah.
foundation and some walls going up there.
No windows, no doors.
Nothing.
No
How the
roof.
hell that can be
Even
1.5?
the first floor, I don't even know what's going on there. You see all kind of trees coming up with it, and cement and stone and gravel and so on. You know?
These guys are just barefaced. This is what the old time people say. He barefaced, barefaced. It's a
Yeah.
barefaced thing way of thinking.
Yeah.
You know, that's really out of hand weird. I can't, it's not acceptable. And then,
Ladies and
you know, I
gentlemen,
don't know.
We're going to leave it at there. It's already over an hour now.
How is it? How gone?
But we're going to come back next week, and I believe we're going to have to tell you.
Yeah.
We've stated what the problem is.
Yeah.
And we're going to let you know next week
Exactly what we did.
how we responded to this
That's right,
problem.
what we
This
did,
health
and
hazard
then
that is the Golden Grove
response that
Community
we did.
Center.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. God willing, we'll be back next week, and we'll keep you up to date. St. John's Road South, I'll be campaigning again tomorrow as soon as possible in your
Yes,
neighborhood. You will see me.
absolute.
And
Yes.
I will be trying to let you know what we're going to do to improve this constituency so that you, your family, your neighbors, your friends, and generally Antigua and Barbados can feel safe
That's
and
right.
clean and healthy
That's absolutely.
in this constituency.
Yes.
Goodbye for now.
Bye.
A buzzard took a monkey for a ride in the air. The monkey thought that everything was on the square. The buzzard tried to throw the monkey off of his back, but the monkey grabbed his neck and said, "Now listen, Jack, straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Ain't no use in diving. What's the use of diving? Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top." The buzzard told the monkey, "You are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free." The monkey looked the buzzard right dead in the eye and said, "Your story's so touching, it sounds just like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top." Bree, bree, doo, bree, bree, doo, da 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 da. The buzzard told the monkey, "You are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free." The monkey looked the buzzard right dead in the eye and said, "Your story's so touching, it sounds just like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top.